Well, thanks for having me on. So my name is Savana Sharp. I'm an NPC bikini competitor. I'm also a suit stylist with Angel Competition Bikinis. So I've been competing for a while now. I started my journey in 2017, and hopefully, I'm working towards a pro card. That's what the goal is this year. And I'm getting ready to hop on stage in a couple of months as well.
When did you get into bodybuilding?
Did my first show in 2017. So I started my official prep in like 2016, like December of 2016, like, New Year's resolution kind of thing. Like I'm gonna, get in shape. I'm gonna do something for myself. And so I stepped on stage in like May of 2017 for my first show.
Was that time frame the kind of the first time you were really getting into fitness in the gym and stuff like that?
So kind of yes and kind of no. I've always been an athlete my like whole life. So like I've done sports like ever since I was like little, I did every sport. I did basketball, volleyball, softball, and then I kind of specialized in volleyball from like 13 to 18. So I was used to training and working out and stuff like that. But then, during my college years from like 28, well, I guess, yeah, during college, like I kind of, got a little fat and had some fun. I used to work at a kind of like a fast food restaurant. So it had like burgers and wings. And, I was drinking pretty heavily in college and just wasn't taking care of my health. And I definitely was like, I want to get in shape, but it was my first time actually like learning how to train the right way. I did know what I was doing. I did have to reach out to like a trainer. So I was like, I need a coach that can actually like show me how to do this stuff, like show me how to lift weights, show me like what the right way and the wrong way is. So it was kind of technically like my first true time of like learning how to actually like exercise, diet, lift, all of those type of things.
Jumping right into that kind of intensity, really, did you find that that was helpful for you to kind of have that goal to shoot for and it kept you on track? Or did you kind of struggle along the way with like having this goal, but still starting out, and having those initial struggles?
Yeah. So, like, if you are just going about your fitness journey without a deadline, like, it makes it easy just to kind of, go off plan. So, if, there's a cookie or a bite or a cheat meal, or like you're not getting ready for anything, there's not an end date in sight. So, it's easy for someone to just be like, you know what, like, oh, cookie here, cookie there is not going to hurt me, a night out with my friends. But when suddenly, like, I have to be on stage in a little small little swimsuit in front of the whole world and I'm going to be judged, now it's like, okay, maybe I can wait on that cookie and maybe I can say no. And I definitely think like the motivation that you have when you have a deadline really helps like take your gym to the next level. Cause now it's like, no, I have to get in shape by this time. I don't have time to mess around. I like really have to pick it up.
Whenever that first show got closer and closer, did you have any kind of, anxiety about like, okay, am I really ready for this?
Yeah, I think everybody does. Like, it's a first time competitor, like second guessing yourself. Like, I don't know, because I didn't know what to expect. So I definitely went through into that show with like no expectations. I did as much research as I could. Like, I attended a show, so I kind of knew what to expect. But honestly, nothing really prepares you until you do it. So the whole time I'm like, I don't know, like, am I muscle? Like, do I have enough muscle? Am I lean enough? Am I going to place and all of those things? Like, am I practicing my posing enough? And I kind of almost I over prepared. I feel like I ended up doing really well. But I just kind of was like the whole entire time just like second guessing everything because it's, you're new, you don't know what to expect. And I don't have a background being on stage. So when I did sports, it was team sports like volleyball and softball. So I'd never done a sport that was just an individual kind of thing or dance or plays or anything. So I didn't have stage time. So that was really kind of nerve wracking, but I knew I wanted to do it to kind of like step outside my comfort zone.
Gotcha. What do you feel like you learned about yourself and about what it's going to take moving forward from that first show?
Yeah, so I've done 6 competitions since then. So I mean, after I did it, I was hooked and I loved it. It just was I ended up placing really well. So that kind of, doing well at your first show, it did hook me in. But then I was like, I want to improve. Like I really loved it. The high that you feel on show day and stage of like months and months and months of all of the, saying no to events, saying no to food, saying no to all this different stuff because you got cardio and you got workouts and you have so much stuff to do do. It just like all kind of came into your package on show day, and it totally was worth it. So I didn't know if it was going to be worth it, but then when you get that moment where, you see yourself at literally your best conditioning you've ever had, like it's just very rewarding that your hard work does pay off. And so I was like really addicted to that feeling of like, I want to see like just how good I can be. Is like, I know I can do better. Like I want to move on. And then I kind of started to understand how it works, like the process of like, okay, what goals can I set? Because I just did it as a bucket list. I didn't have expectations for placing. But then after I did place, I'm like, okay, maybe I can actually do this. Like maybe I can, keep progressing in the sport and like work my way up into like a national show and a pro card and all of those different things.
I think one interesting part about bodybuilding is like all the sacrifice that you kind of mentioned there, like saying no to so much. And in kind of today's world, it's such a weird thing. Like if you say, okay, I don't want to drink, or I don't want dessert, or I don't want this, whatever, it's almost like people look at you like, are you okay?
Yeah.
It's such a weird kind of place that we're in. Whenever you started to say no, to a lot of things, did people around you start to be like, you're taking this too seriously, or anything like that?
Yes, all the time. Because it's so bodybuilding is so niche, and it does take it to the extreme, and the level of extreme that you have to get in order to get like stage lean is not necessarily healthy. At the end, it does cross the line from, being just fun fitness into, okay, this is extreme. Like we are tracking things to the gram, we're tracking sodium, we're tracking water, sleep, like everything you are doing is calculated to the point where it's like, oh, you're a little obsessed with that. It's like, no, I am. I really am. But yeah, so it just took some time for friends and family to understand it, because I think they are going to come at it very concerned, because they only get to see, hey, like you're looking really small, frail. Are you sick? You're getting real lean and small, and they don't really understand like the science and all the different things behind it and like why I love it. But then, after show, they realize, okay, this isn't just something that she's doing. This isn't a phase. This is a new lifestyle. And so it did take some time. My family, luckily, is very open to it. So they support me in everything that I do. But, friends thought, okay, when can you drink with us? Like after your show, you can eat with us. And then I kind of, after going through all these new healthy habits, I suddenly wasn't the same person at the end of the prep during the beginning. And so it took a lot of time to figure out, okay, this is my new identity. I don't want to be the person that I was at the beginning of this journey. And your friends and family still believe that you are that person. So it does take some time of like, saying no over and over again. But after now, you bring in your food, like I made you chicken. Is it okay? And so now they kind of get it.
Yeah. I think it is. It's tough because the people around you, they do have such an influence. And if you're not, strong enough to say no a lot, and if you're not willing to maybe even sometimes be like, well, maybe I shouldn't hang out with this person as much, or in these different situations because I can't, say no. It's
Yeah.
definitely, it's tough to almost make a change within your life without looking around at who's in your life as well.
Yeah. I mean, they say like you are who you hang out with. And it's very true, because like their habits are your habits are there. But like on the inverse of that, like, I feel like my journey has helped them try to take, maybe they take their health and fitness. Like if they see someone they know do it, they're like, maybe I should make some healthy changes. And it kind of goes, it's good and bad. There's some friends that I did have to like leave behind during my journey, but it just naturally happened. You don't start to get invited to stuff because you're always saying no, or you're always dieting. So you're not necessarily the life of the party. It's just the lifestyle that you choose.
Yeah. Is there anything like struggle wise that you kind of saw yourself like, oh, this is a very challenging aspect. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be, but it actually was very hard at that you struggled with maybe for the first like prep or first show or first couple that you've kind of like mastered now that you don't sometimes like understand how, but you just like it becomes easier.
Yeah, it's the diet. That's it. It's really like the training isn't a big deal. Like I love working out. I could train every single day. It's not a big deal. Like cardio doesn't bother me. It's just the diet and like being hungry and getting adjusted to living, being hungry, and like learning how to be okay with it. I think it took me a long time. Like, I feel like this year I did a really good job. In my off season, I still stayed on my diet the best that I could, just because I realized the significant impact that your year-round diet has on your preps. The harder you can diet in your off season, or just like stay pretty clean, it's going to make it so much easier to lose weight. And when you're trying to become like best in the country and earn a pro card, like, you have to realize that there are girls out there that are staying on their diet year round. And I used to believe like off season was a time to be off on the diet and like really eat whatever you want, like every single week. And like, I literally had, I would say, I have 3 months in order to like shove my face and go to all my favorite restaurants and get all of that food I have been craving for months in that small window. And now I don't really look at it like that at all. I ate clean pretty much all of 2021. I took a year off of training, and I just ate clean, and my cravings went down, and I just didn't think about food the same way. I didn't focus on it's so low, it's so low. Instead, it's like, why don't you focus on the calories you do get and like the food that you do get, and just realize like it is temporary. The more preps that I do, I realize it's just temporary. Like, you can only diet for so long. Like, it does have to end. Like, in the moment, feeling hungry, it literally feels like you're dying, which it's not fun. And, you do get hangry, but just like trying not to use it as an excuse. Like, don't use prep as an excuse to be a crappy person. I really try not to even make a big deal about it anymore. Just because you're dieting and on prep, like, you can still travel, you can still go to events, you can still do whatever. You shouldn't ever use it as an excuse of like, I'm tired, I'm hungry. So I've really tried this year. I feel like this year, it's just like, it's not a big deal. It's a part of my lifestyle. And it shouldn't be a big deal. It's just like, you're eating a little bit cleaner and you're doing some extra cardio.
Yeah. And I was talking to somebody and they said, I can't really complain about it because I chose to do it. And I was like, well, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense if you think about it like that.
Right. Because it's like you're a psychopath. It's like, because it's like, you are the one that is dieting. How are you complaining about this? This is your choice. Like, at all times, if I'm like, I'm hungry, then just eat. Like, you're choosing to eat or not to eat. So now I'm like, yes, I'm hungry. And that, I mean, we knew this was coming. And so I think at the beginning of this prep, like, I realized I was like, it's going to be hard. I'm going to be hungry and it's going to be okay. And so like, I knew like mentally, I'm like, what do you want? Do you want the goals, or do you want to have like bites of whatever throughout, your journey? Like, I'd rather just wait. Like, it's going to be so much more validating once you stay on plan, and just, I don't know, it's a lot easier once you just do it longer. And I think at the very beginning of it, a lot of people just focus on like the post-show treats and the bad food you're going to eat, instead of like focus on like how you're growing and changing and improvements from show to show.
Yeah, I think if you see, like, if you understand and and I think it comes with experience too, but like, if you understand how this initial struggle or discomfort is actually benefiting you, whether you look at it from the diet side or like the training side, okay, this rep is uncomfortable and doing, three or
Yeah.
four more is going to be uncomfortable, but it's something that's benefiting me. Um, with that being said though, that kind of discomfort and that kind of sacrifice and struggle, when you first got into it, do you think that you were really kind of aware of all that it was going to be, really? I mean, I don't think you know it, but like, did you have any idea of it?
No, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. No. So like the discomfort that I didn't prep that hard. Like, a novice prep is different from like prepping for a national stage. It's completely different. So, it's the same, but I mean, if I look at my diet and I look at my training, I wasn't doing that much. Like, compared to what I'm doing now, like how serious I'm taking, like, I was doing macro tracking versus meal plan now. Not as much cardio. My cardio, I didn't understand the intensity. So I've had to kind of do multiple preps and get beat at shows to realize, and looking like who's next to you, like, you still have to push harder than you think that you need to. And so that it's really hard, because during my preps, I always think I'm pushing hard, but it's definitely a reality check when you're like, oh no, wait, now you're getting you're still getting beat. And so like your best is still not better. So it's just like, I didn't realize how much I was going to have to grow as a person and an athlete, like in order to do what it takes to like get that conditioning, to get like the very, very best conditioning. And it's hard. And it's hard to put on muscle. Like I really believed at the beginning that it was going to be very easy. I looked at a pro card as 3 steps. You know, I'm going to compete at a regional show. I'm going to get nationally qualified. Then I'm going to go to nationals. I'm going to get it on my 2nd show. And now I'm a pro. I thought it was 3 shows. I thought it was going to be very easy. I had no idea how long off seasons were supposed to be. I had no idea like how hard it is to make significant muscle increases. I think my first off season, I took 3 months and I was like, oh, these next 3 months, I'm going to come back real big and like, you know, make all the improvements that I need. And I looked almost identical to the same package that I had brought at my first show. So that, you know, the time and the actual discipline, and honestly, like financially, like competing is very expensive too. I kind of knew that at the beginning, but I just didn't know the extent of like everything that goes into it. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that that you don't know about it. It's like, this is a whole lifestyle. You can't really look at yourself the same. So even if I were not to compete, you can't look at, you know, a food the same, the macros in it. You're always like, you know, worried about the macros in the food. And so I look at food differently now. And I look at, you know, even myself, like weight gain, all of those different things differently. So I had I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I didn't know how much it would make an impact on myself when I first got into it.
Yeah. And I think the time thing is such an interesting one because whether you're competing or not, it's like you have these ideas of like, oh, in 3 months it'll be like this, and in 6 months it'll be like this. But in reality, it's
Yeah.
more like in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. And that's
Yeah,
such a hard concept to kind of accept, you know,
it
especially if
is.
you're just starting out.
Yep, that's I think that's what a lot of people think. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna have this like they do a one show and they're like, I'm gonna temporarily like give it my all. And then immediately after, they believe that they can go back to the same lifestyle and maintain the physique that they just earned.
Once you understand that, that's where kind of the excitement comes from because you understand that like each day actually makes a difference. It's so weird because we're all physically capable of doing so much, almost anything. It's just a matter of like actually doing it, you know.
Mhm.
That's the difference. That's the game changer is whether you're mentally strong enough to do it. How do you think you kind of stay on track? Do you have any like strategies you use to whenever motivation is literally just at zero and you're, man, I want to give up. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't
Yeah.
want to get out of bed. Like whether it be a big drop in motivation where it's like, I don't want to do it or I just don't want to get out of bed. Like, do you have anything you kind of do to kind of trick your mind in that short term? Or is it just like, you know,
Yeah.
all discipline?
It's been so routine for so long that I feel very guilty. Like if I were to miss a training session or just like give up on my diet, I really try to like take a second and like, you know, the impact of it multiplied by, you know, a lot more. Like, okay, you know, if I skip like kind of what the impact of it is. So like, okay, you know, I don't want to go to the gym today, but if I don't go to the gym today, what happens? Okay, I can't grow this body part. Then on stage, you know, am I going to be happy when they call me 2nd place and there was more I could have done because, you know, maybe it was this gym session that was going to push me my muscles to the beat the girl next to me. Am I going to be satisfied, you know, with myself if I go to stage and I miss, you know, I miss top call outs by 1 spot? Like, are you going to be okay to like sleep at night with yourself if you don't do this? Like, if we don't do this every single week, if I don't do it today, you know, I might go tomorrow, and then it makes it easier. What saying, you know, I'm not going to do this gym today, or I'm not going to say my diet today. One little slip makes it easy to have 2, makes it easy to have 3, makes it easier to have 4. So staying on plan one time makes it easier to do it again and again and again. So like try not to even like let yourself have that. Like try to be the best you, or to like try to imagine, you know, like what would someone who's already achieved my goals do right now, and imagine you in that future state. So like if you're working towards, for myself, it's like a pro. So like what would the pro version of myself do? Would they skip this gym session? No, then I can't do it today. I listen to motivational podcasts sometimes. Like I love little speeches of motivation stuff where they're like, they say these kind of things, and they're kind of yelling at you, and they're like, they're just, I don't know, powerful speeches. And I listen to that sometimes in the gym instead of music, just because I need something just to keep pushing. And it's like, you don't have calories, you have high cardio, your energy is low. It's just, everything sucks. And then I'm like, okay, I kind of accept, I'm like, this is how it's supposed to feel. So when I hit that sucky part, you always have your best workouts on days that you didn't want to go. Like it's rare that you're feeling so great and then you go have a great workout. I feel more accomplished if I didn't want to go and then I made myself go and I really pushed it hard. And at the end of it, I'm like, wow, that feeling feels so good. Like I'm super proud of myself, because there's going to be days where things are going to try to get into the way. But just build it as a part of your routine. Like every single morning or every single day, do something at the same exact time. So it's just routine. So I have alarms on my phone that tell me it's time to eat, it's time to train, it's time to sleep, it's time to feed the dogs. Like it cannot be skipped. Make it so easy on yourself that there's like no option to ignore it. Hold yourself accountable with friends. Like sometimes I have a prep buddy. So if it's on hard days, like we will text each other and be like, hey, I'm having a really hard day. Like, can you help me? Or just have someone else that you can go to. I don't know, just like it's how bad do you want it really? So I feel like people that aren't motivated shouldn't do this sport and they will get weeded out very fast. But there is some general population that might have these days, or they might be getting into it. So it is it is a habit. I don't know. It's really something that you can build into yourself of like, try to identify as someone who doesn't skip the gym, who doesn't like cheat on their diet. And then the more you can say these things like, I am a winner, I'm going to do these things, positive affirmations, there's like unlimited things that you can do to get motivated. And just like use it as a tool. Like, and if you do have a slip, like don't hold on to it. I'm not going to lie to you, there's been days I've had to skip gym sessions. There's been days where my diet probably wasn't 100%, but I just, in the past, I would have I would have really just like struggled with that, and just really focused on it. But instead it's like, you know what, do the best that you can in your situation and just move on and try to be better as soon as you can. So if you do miss one workout, it's not going to really kill your progress. So just, don't be so hard on yourself. If you do have days where you're not going to be motivated, it's going to happen, but just like try your best just on a routine basis, just to wake up and get, have a list of like, what do I need to do to get to my goals? And mine is, I have to, train, cardio, abs, posing, like I have a little list, and every day if I can check that off, I know that I've done absolutely everything in my power in order to hit my goals, and there's nothing else. So make a list, write it down, write your goals down. There's just so many different things that I do to try to stay motivated.
You talked about at the beginning, you talked about like suit stylist. Tell us a little bit about what that is and like what you do with that.
Yeah, so I work for Angel Competition Bikinis. We design female bodybuilding competition suits for all divisions. So I kind of do a lot with them. So I am a suit stylist. So I do take consultations to help girls design their suit. And then I'm also in charge of like our sponsored athletes. So I help work with like our top Olympians and IFBB pros to help design their suits and get everything that they need. I'm looking for people of like who we want to work with and who we want to sponsor. So I look for trending athletes. I look for social media engagement. I sometimes will travel to shows, do pop-up posing clinics. I'll just go into the industry, and like this past weekend, I just attended different events, try to, be in the industry, understand bodybuilding from the female side of it. So I can kind of use that to like help us grow as a business. And, I'm in charge of now our YouTube channel. We're starting a podcast too. So there's a lot of different things that I kind of do behind the scenes, but lots of marketing, lots of sales.
What is it about bodybuilding really? Because it's so much of like a discipline and of a sacrifice sport. What is it that attracts it to you? What keeps you coming back?
Okay, so I like both sides of bikini, specifically for the glam and the glitz and, all the stage stuff. And then also for the like actual athlete side of it. I love training. I love like working hard. I like the cardio. I like the mental aspect a lot. I think that's one of the things that keeps me in it. It's just, it's constantly a mental battle, and you're constantly leveling up and learning so much about yourself. And like goal setting, like learning how to apply a goal, not only in bodybuilding, but then you can start using it in other aspects of your life. And then it's like, you know, fitness modeling. So it's just, before I even did this, like I love swimsuits. I love being in swimsuits. I don't know. I just, you know, I love the warm weather. I just love the side of like, it's the only thing that I've found that your hard work can be displayed physically. Like you could work a job, a 9 to 5, and you could work super hard and you can get a promotion and you could make stuff, but it's rare that you could physically see it in your appearance of like feeling hard work. So like I know that I'm working hard based on the physique that I build at the end. So it's very cool just to see that you can actually form yourself and be whatever shape that you want. You can like, it's so crazy that like, if you want your body to look a certain way, if you work hard enough, you can get it to look like a certain way. And it's just kind of addicting because you can never get good at it. And so that kind of, it is a goal. Like I want to get good at it, but I also, like I want to help others. I love helping new people, but I like that there's, even at the top, you can't be good, that you can't master it. It's subjective. So you have to kind of bring your A game every single show. And it's just, it gives everyone a fair chance every single stage. You know, if you bring your best to even the top stage, you could take out some of the big dogs in the world. And bikini specifically, it's not about how much muscle that you build. There's a criteria. So you could only get capped off so hard. So now, you know, once you build your muscle, the girls that have like even the top in the world, once you get to their level, like we can't grow, otherwise we outgrow the division, which is very nice. So it's a hard division because of all of those different things. It's super fun. Like you just, there's so much I love about it. Like you meet so many people like backstage. I've met some of my best friends. Now I work in this industry. The people that you meet is really what keeps me in it, just because different people in this sport are like-minded. It takes a very special type of person to be a bodybuilder, to commit to this lifestyle. And so you do find some very interesting backgrounds and people from all across the world. And so I love everything about it.
If people want to follow what you're doing, how can they do that? Where can they find you, like on social media and stuff?
Yeah. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @SavSharp_. And then on YouTube, it's just Savana Sharp. I do post a lot of like behind the scenes of my prep journeys. And then I have a podcast as well. So it's called Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. So I interview other like amateur competitors. And then it's also kind of like an online diary of my journey to hopefully turning into a pro athlete. And so I just kind of talk about like what's going on in my life each week. I think that's everything.